Bonjour! Today we are going to start learning les nombres, which are numbers in French. And just to warn you, numbers in French, I think, is a really hard concept for French 1, but it is such an important concept because we use numbers for everything. You use a number to say how old you are, to say how many brothers and sisters you have, to exchange phone numbers, to pay for something and use money, to figure out your hotel room number when you travel to Paris for the first time. Numbers are everywhere, and numbers are something that my level 2 and 3 students are still really shaky on. So if you can learn these and get a good foundation to build from, once you know numbers 1 through 10, you then learn numbers 11 and up. You can count into the hundreds and thousands and millions. But first, we've got to learn our basic French numbers. So take this lesson seriously, study these numbers, practice saying them to yourself, because you will need to know numbers to survive when you travel in France, and when you're speaking in French. So let's look. The first thing I want you to do is to just try listening and pronouncing these numbers. Once you see the spelling of them, you'll realize why they seem so hard at first, because they don't really look like how they're spelled, how they're sounding. They don't all match up and it gets confusing. So I want you to just listen and repeat these with me. If you're sitting at home, don't be shy. Just say these numbers with me, because the more you practice speaking and pronouncing them, the better you will be at numbers. Okay. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. I'm going to say these again, but you'll notice French people start counting with the thumb. So if you're like standing at the lunch line and give somebody a thumbs up, they want to know why you are ordering one of something. So this is not, yay, good job in French. This is 1, 2, 3. I find 4 very painful. 5, 6. Okay. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Let's look at these numbers. Un, un. We learned this number when we were saying like un lycée, a high school, or un examen, a test. Un is the number 1. It also means a or an. Deux, deux, trois, trois. If the R sound is hard for you, trois. Just try your best to make a W sound instead, trois. O, I together make that W sound. So if you're like, what the, that's Troy. Trois, trois. Un, deux, trois, quatre. I think it sounds kind of like cat. Quatre, quatre. Q-U makes a K sound in French. Quatre. If the R sound is hard, quatre works for now. That's fine. Cinq. Cinq sounds like the Titanic sank a little bit. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. Six. Say them with me. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. See if you can pause this and do it by yourself. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. I would suggest pausing this and trying over and over again until you can count fast. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. And then we have 4 more to learn. Sept, huit, neuf, dix. Sept, huit, neuf, dix. Sept. The world is a P doing in there. It's silent. It's a silent P. Sept, sept, huit. I think of wheat, if that helps. Huit, huit. The H is silent. huit, neuf. Neuf, when you are spelling these, E-U makes an E sound in French, same as you saw in the number 2. De. De, neuf. Don't flip the E and the U. That would be pronounced deux and neuf, and that'd be weird. Neuf. Dix. Rhymes with six, spelled the same. Dix. Sept, huit, neuf, dix. Say them with me. Sept, huit, neuf, dix. Okay, here they are. One more time. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Practice these over and over again because we're going to need them again when we do 21, 34, 58. So these numbers are the basis of our French number learning. So we need these 10 to be strong before we keep going. One more time. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Try it out with the fingers. See if you can do 4. It's tough. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. And let's backtrack. Zéro. Zéro. Zéro is 0. You've got an accent aigu on the E, so zéro. If the R sound is hard, zéro is fine. 1, that's not a thumbs up. Zéro, that's the symbol for it. Zéro. Don't do that to people. That also is kind of rude and saying like you're worthless. You're 0. You're nothing. Don't do that. Zéro. Zéro. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. A couple little notes. When you are counting, use un for 1. So un, deux, trois, quatre. Let's say I'm counting how many pens I have. I would go un, deux, trois. However, if I had something feminine, which I don't have anything around me, but let's say I was counting girls in the class, I would say une, deux, trois, quatre. So I start with une if I'm counting things that are all feminine. I've seen it on TV before in a French show. They were counting tomatoes. Those are feminine. Une tomate. And they were like une, deux, trois. So if you're counting, you'll say un, deux, trois if it's masculine. If you're counting all feminine stuff, une, deux, trois. When you have one of something, put un in front of a masculine noun, une in front of a feminine noun. We already know how to do this. Un objet, one object. Une télévision, one TV. So this word un, une can mean a TV, an object, or it can mean just one. Same idea, right? Lastly, if you're using more than one, you are going to replace des with that specific number. You won't have an article. Instead, you'll have un, deux, trois, quatre. So if you had one table, you're going to say une table. You're not going to say une la table. No one says one the table. So drop the, drop a, and just have un, une, and the number if it's more than one. So in this photo, we have 10 professeurs. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf. Did I count them right? Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf. There's only 9. I gotta change my PowerPoint. I'm sorry. We've come too far. I'm not going back now. Neuf professeurs. 9 teachers. I can't count. And in this photo, we have 6 personnes. 6 people. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six personnes. And actually, the word personne is feminine. So I'm going to say une, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. Sorry, I can't count, teachers. I thought I got Lachlan back there. Thought I'd gotten everybody, but I can't. That is where we will pause. Let me just do one little test. What do you see here? How would you say 2 tables in French? Deux tables. deux tables. The number 2 replaces the word des or les. Put an S on the end because there's 2 of them, 2 tables. What about 3 singers? We've got the American Idol judges here. Trois chanteurs. Trois chanteurs, 3 singers. Do you know who these people are? Send me a message if you do. I think that's where we will pause. We're going to do numbers 11 and up after this. One more time. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix, zéro, zéro. Thank you for watching all of this. I hope that you feel a little better with numbers. There are other videos at the bottom of this page, including a song to really drive these home. The better you learn numbers, the better you will feel as we learn more and more and more of them. Au revoir.